Thank you. Welcome. Just to get a feeling, how many of you have ever been in a Vapiano? Okay, that's quite a lot. For the remaining 20% before we start, I brought a short video just to get a little bit feeling about our concept. So welcome to the home of freshness. I have an Italian name, Mario. I work for an Italian company, but I'm not Italian, I'm Austrian. So I thought last year for Christmas I'd do a DNA test just to find out if there's any Italian in me. That's my result. What you see here, so it's the typical Austrian mix with 0.1% Finnish. I don't know where that comes from. And 0.8% Italian. So I'm really proud that I have a little bit tomato blood in my veins. And that's a true DNA test, that's not just a joke. I want to talk a little bit about Vapiano and the ingredients of our success and also the international growth. Unfortunately, I only have 15 minutes, so we'll try to do that in 10, that we have a little bit time for Q&A afterwards. Vapiano really defines itself by freshness. A lot of concepts claim that, but Vapiano lives that every day. We produce in every of our 182 restaurants, every day, every sauce, every pizza dough, pasta, dressing by ourselves. And we are really proud on that. But what is now playing really in our hands is the customization. When you look on the restaurant scheme, in the old days, there was the product sitting, waiting for the guest. The guest came in, took the product, and took it home. This whole thing changed over the years, and every concept around the world is now talking about customization. Even the big guys like McDonald's are doing build-your-own burger. Vapiano is, from day one, customization pure, because if you walk in, you have your Vapianisti on the other side of the counter with an empty wok, and he starts cooking especially for you. So we call that 101 cooking private chef, and that's really part of our DNA. And the current trend, all the studies we are reading around the world, is really customization, customization, customization. And that's a key for Vapiano. When we talk about customization, obviously what is the most important is the person on the other side of the counter cooking for you. Because you have this permanent interaction. So we have these 3-4 minutes of interaction. So the cook should entertain you, should flirt with you, cheer you up, and at the end of the day, create the perfect meal for you. That's so important and for us to invest in our people and to pick the ones who are a little bit outstanding. So we know how to train them, we know how to learn them cooking, but the personality, the character, this is really what we need to pick. Ambience, you saw that. Vapiano defines himself by very exclusive ambience. We try to appear like a fine dining restaurant. We invest around 2 million euro in our restaurants. Being a fast casual, that's really a statement. So we have fast casual prices with a fine dining ambience created by Matteo Thun. You saw some of that in the video. We are a true franchise concept. From day one, we believed in our partners. You see here, this was the last franchise conference in Doha. This is all our partners, 18 different languages. We are currently in 32 countries around the world. And what we like to do with this conference, we really wanted to show that we're not a German concept anymore, we're not a European concept anymore, we are a true international concept. We are in all the continents. And we really live our partnership value. We have around 20 to 40 applications a week for franchising, and we pick 2 to 3 a year. So we have a really narrow process to pick our partners because we want to make sure that we share the same core values, the same DNA. Vapiano grows, and that's also part of my speech, what you saw in the agenda. We grow corporate countries, we grow joint venture countries, and we grow pure franchise countries. And I truly believe that it's important that the franchisor starts investing outside of the core market. When we have been a pure German concept, it was really difficult for us to understand the needs and the challenges of our partners outside of the core market. But then we started putting in own money outside of the core market. We're currently investing in 10 different markets around the world, from China, Australia, US, and a lot of European countries. And that really helps us to understand and also change our processes to really understand the need of a franchise outside of the core market. So for us, a very, very important step. So where we're currently standing, we are a young company. We're in our teenage years. We're in our puberty. We are 15 years old. It's a German concept, unfortunately, as an Austrian, I have to say. So we're a little bit jealous on that. We are on all continents, 31 countries. At the moment, we're going to open 5 more countries this year. We're going to open in Colombia. We're going to open in Czech Republic. We're going to open in Denmark. We're going to open in Spain, and we're planning the market entry, just to also mention that because it was a discussion before, to Iran. We really want to be the first big fast casual brand entering Iran, and we see a huge opportunity in the market. We have the international growth in our DNA. Vapiano, that's the growth rate since day one, and we will speed up now. You saw that we grow between 13 and 17 restaurants a year. This year we're going to do 34 restaurants. That's doubling the speed, so that's really a big step for us, and next year we're going to do 50. And as I said, with the mix of franchising, joint venture, and corporate. You see here some other names. Some of them I see in the room, like Nick from Jamie. Hi. We compare ourselves here with a sample set of companies, what we think they are close to us. We have here Wagamama, Jamie's, Shake Shack, Five Guys, Chipotle, and L'Osteria, that's another German player. And you see here the coverage of the markets. 31 markets, we're in Wagamama, 18, Jamie, 16. And what I want to say with this slide is not that it's good or worse than the others. It's just very, very different, because you have companies like Chipotle, for example. They built 1,400 restaurants in one country, a very stable management, a very stable manual, and then stepped out into the other countries. Whereas Vapiano grew in the first 10 years, we grew into 22 countries. I once made a comparison how many countries another concept did in the first 10 years, and the closest to us is Wagamama, who did 3 in the first 10 years. So we really had to find another way how to run our company. It's a very decentralized company with a lot of power in the different regions, because if you would cluster everything to one decision stream in the headquarters, you cannot manage that. And we couldn't hire people who have done that before. We couldn't run that by the book. We couldn't learn that from any Harvard case study or whatever. We really needed to find our way through into this international growth. And we had quite a few learnings on that. I was co-hosting yesterday with Babette a workshop on franchising for 2 hours and 3 hours, and I was quite transparent and open to share all our failures and learnings, so to say, in the last couple of years. What we really believe it is important is you should go abroad without losing the soul, and therefore you need to know what your soul is, what your heart is. And there is something where we don't make a compromise. We don't make a compromise on the one-on-one cooking. Even in some cultures like China, it's very difficult to motivate the Vapianisti to talk to a businessman because of the hierarchy. We don't compromise on freshness, although it would be easier for us in a city like Stockholm, where we run 6 restaurants, or Vienna, where we run 7 restaurants in a very small radius, to have a centralized kitchen and to have a production. But we really believe that the producing in the Vapiano itself is a sign of freshness, a quality statement, and also, and a lot of people forget that, it is important for the identification of the Vapianisti, because if the Vapianisti can say, everything what you see here, everything what I gonna cook for you is produced on that day in that house, and I can guarantee that because I saw it, that it's really, really important also for their bride. When we grow internationally, we always listen to the guest. We don't listen to the franchise partner because all the franchise partners tell us, oh, my country is completely different. That maybe work in France, that maybe works in Netherlands, but this doesn't work in Czech Republic. Czech Republic is so different. We are so different than Poland, etc. Everybody says that, and if it's really like that, then we're willing to change. We're very flexible in changing our concept when we don't ignore our soul, what I just pointed out, but we want to hear it from our guest and not from our Vapianisti. So we do a lot of focus group, we do a lot of discussion when we're coming in, like China is my most favorite example, because in China we really stretched our concept. We opened in Shanghai, it's a corporate store, and we really learned from the guest what is needed. So for example, salads, they are not accepted as a main dishes. So we changed the whole salad offering to a grill offering with a side salad. They didn't like the European risotto. So we changed the recipe mixing local rice with Italian risotto rice. The portion size was an issue because it was too big, so we reduced the portion size. In the pasta, the sauce versus the pasta dish, they like more soupy pasta dishes, so we changed that. So we are really willing and open to change that, but always start as pure as possible and then adopt it. And in the early days, when we run it more German, so to say, we said no to everything. A franchise partner called us and said, look, there is a need to change this and that. We said, no, that's our standard, that works, that's no. Then we had the phase where we allowed everything. People called us and said, I want to sell steaks in Korea. So we sold steaks in Korea. Huge failure too. Now we have the approach, we have a team of around 18 people constantly traveling and moving around the world. And when we have a request, we go there, not from the table, not from the desk in Europe, but go there, listen to the guest, do a focus group, and really put our hands in there and change on the open heart, so to say, and really learn what changes that makes.